Here's a question for you. Who's better? The guy who has good parents, has a good family, good community, goes to a good school, has natural talents at being smart, and does well, does a lot of ter, does a lot of mitzvahs, learns a lot, able to memorize a lot of Gemara, memorize a lot of Chassidus, or the guy who has all those the opposite of everything I just mentioned, and he struggles to do basic moral things, but once in a while he overcomes his urge, whether it is in doing good, whether it is not to do the bad thing. Who's better? Who does Hashem cherish more? Who's doing better in their life? Welcome to my fifth podcast, which is a part 2 of Pnimios and Chitzonios. The reason why this is part 2 is because the focus is somewhere else based on what we saw, what you heard in the last episode, the 4th episode. This is a focus of judgmentalism. I'm not sure if you've ever heard that before. Everything has an ism. And I think we know, unfortunately, too much about this judgmentalism. And I hope we can improve in this area. So, it says in Chumash Rashi, Hashem Elokeinu v'hanigla islanu l'vanenu. So paraphrasing, Rashi says that we know only the revealed things. What we can see from our eyes, from the Chitzonios, in other words. And Hashem sees the Nistaris, the Pnimios, what's inside. So, I believe when it says that, it's talking about basic judgment. That the court, a Basar Adam court, a human being court, whether Jewish or not Jewish, we have to judge based on what we see in our actions. Even as much as it could make sense, you would try to make sense that, but it has to be this way. But if you didn't actually see with your eyes to that extent, it's nister to you. You didn't see it, it doesn't count for judgment. You have to go with what our eyes see. But Hashem, up in heaven, they know what's going on inside of a person's heart. So I believe that we have a obligation, one of the mitzvahs, to be like Hashem. Medabik b'midaisav, to act like His midas. Just mahu rachem afatei rachem. Just like He's merciful, so to you be merciful. This could also apply to the way Hashem judges His people. Hashem knows what's really going on in a person. So yes, the person needs his judgment in Basar Adam court, but when it comes to how to look at another Yid, so we're very familiar. Yes, he's a Chelek HaMal Mamish, but that's very vague in general. Let's look a little deeper. There are so many factors inside of a person that causes what he does. So, like I said in the beginning, the person who grew up in the best system, and he does good, and the person who doesn't grow up in a good system, and he once in a while works crazy hard to do an extra mitzvah, who's cherished more? This is actually the source for what I'm saying. I'm just saying it in different words, but the source from it comes from, I believe it was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, or, sorry, I'm not into the details, but I remember the point. There's a Tana, maybe an Amira, that said, I don't know where I'm going to go after I die. It was right before his death. What do you mean? But didn't he do tzaddik mitzvahs all his life? So why was he worried? So one of the explanations, I believe it's the Rebbe's explanation, is because maybe he was just going by his nature. If you're going by your nature, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, So you get so that's interesting. So the reward of mitzvahs, it is worth something, even though it's your natural tendency. But you may not get Eilam Haba for it. Eilam Haba seems to be going after your nature, but especially in Chabad, we're not into Eilam Haba. The point is that we see how in heaven it works differently. Another example we see, another 2 Amiraim. The point of the story was that a student asked the teacher, "How do I know I'm going to go to Gan Eden?" Sorry if I'm not quoting the details correctly, but the point of the story, he said, was, so he responded, "Tell me something that you did." And he responded, One time, I thought I gave tzedakah to the organization, and I thought it was basically I thought it wasn't my money, but it wasn't that he was taking someone else's money. He was somehow it was mutter it was permitted what he was doing, and then he later realized it was his own money, and technically he could have either taken it out or been upset. But you know what? He was like, "That's okay. It's okay that it happened. Leave it." So he said, now you deserve Gan Eden because of that. I was like, seriously? Like, this guy was Mesiras Nefesh. He literally was Mesiras Nefesh to teach Torah Barabim. And yet, he's going to go to Gan Eden because he did this, he let the tzedakah go. So again, the explanation is that maybe that was all his nature. How do we know that he's really serving Hashem? Avodah, the definition of Avodas Hashem is when you go out of your nature. And that can mean two things. It can mean either you're doing something totally different than your nature. If you have a tendency to be kind, so you have to also work on your gvura and vice versa. And that can also mean that whatever you're used to, if you're used to doing it a certain amount of times, doing it more, or do it not even more in quantity, even more in quality. That is avodas Hashem. That is serving Hashem. Not to take away that if you're feeling like you're just serving Hashem sometimes and you're just enjoying it and it's completely out by your nature, it's good, it's beautiful. It's just not called avodas Hashem. So just, you're on the right road, you're on the right path, you're surfing good. Just continue surfing on to avodas Hashem. Do more. It comes out of love, and that love will bring you to go beyond your limits. Like we said previously, we should know where our boundaries and not overdo it. So going back to Pnimios and Chitzonios, this, I don't hear it enough. And unfortunately, the reality is I see it that it's not the way we judge people. We don't know what a person's going through. Especially, even when it comes to physical sicknesses. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's definitely terrible. But there are people who are going through sicknesses inside that people can't see. In a way, it's worse. Because from the outside, yes, maybe it may be embarrassed. I'm not trying to say which one's worse, but I'm trying to bring out the other side of the coin where I don't believe people are getting enough sympathy, whatever it is that they need. So on the outside, when people are sick from the outside, so maybe embarrassing, but at least people sympathize with them and they get the care that they need. Whereas people suffering on the inside, it can either be mentally or even physically inside their body that you can't see, people ignore it. You're just faking. It's not that he can't be faking. Unfortunately, maybe kids could, abuse it. But as an adult, seriously? I don't think that's the way Hashem works, that we think people are lying. And, I think it's not Hashem's way. Hashem's way is to judge favorably and to try to, it's not our business to know what's going on. But so even if we don't know what's going on, you judge them favorably. Maybe they're going through a hard time. So that's even on a physical sickness level. So they have it on every level. We don't know what a person's going through. We don't know. There's a million causes. There's how bad they eat, how strong the Yetzer Hara is, how strong the Yetzer Tov is, how much influence their family and friends and community, and things that's almost like permanently in the sick in the body that they can't get rid of. Or there's parnasa, there's kids, there's this and that. There's so many factors. We need to judge favorably. This is also going into the topic of yisroel. Always judge favorably. There's so many examples. I hope that I can bring out all the examples that deserves the attention to judge favorably, which helps us in yisroel. There's so many examples. One very important example that comes to mind. Unfortunately, I see it. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I'm just bringing out a case. Unfortunately, that has to be addressed. It's really, really disturbing. Where in Chabad, this also goes into the chinuch and shlichus on my second episode that I mentioned, that we used to be very good within our own circle. And then the Rebbe introduced shlichus, and then we hyped onto the train. we're very good, we start getting better, and that, but unfortunately, is taking away from the chinuch. And one of the ways, unfortunately, in the very disturbing ways it plays out, is when we respect and love, you can say love, more the Jews who are non-religious than the Jews that are religious. We love more people who are, so to say, not our brothers in a revealed way, right? All Jews are brothers, but I'm saying in our circles. We love more the Jews that are not in our circles than in our circles. It's so backwards. Like, at the very least, you treat everyone equally. What's this business that, I'm not saying one Jew is better than the other, but don't, at least treat them equally. What is going on here? And one of the very specific ways it plays out is, for example, when you have a non-religious, he doesn't, and by the way, again, not religious is very deceiving, very, very deceiving. Someone could be, I don't know if I need this obvious, I'll say that anyways. Some people look religious on the outside, but on the inside, or what they do behind your back, when no one's looking, it's terrible. Either bein adam lachaverai or bein adam lamakai. So I'm saying someone who, so especially you have someone who's not religious walks into shul, and the rabbi shliach greets him so warmly. But then someone who's from his own circle walks in, and now you say that. I'm saying it could even be someone not even from their circle. It could be someone that looks like not from their circle, meaning it could be a Baal Tshuva who decided to wear a hat and jacket early, either for good or for not, which is a separate discussion, and it depends on the Baal Tshuva and his mashpia when they should decide to wear a hat and jacket. And this is one of the reasons. It's not the topic, but I really want to talk about it. How I believe Baal Tshuvas, I just say this statement, that Baal Tshuvas should keep their personality, and we need their personalities, that colorful, beautiful thing that they have that us from births don't. So when you have a Baal Tshuva who is not really religious yet, but he decided he wanted to wear a hat and jacket, and he has the beard, whatever. So at first glance, you can't really tell, and the shliach will not treat him warmly. And he's actually someone who actually needs the extra help because he's still on his journey. He just looked like, he looked like he's already religious. He looks like the part of the circle. It doesn't matter. The point is, you should treat everyone warmly. What's this business? And it can apply to any shul, the circumstance. Like, come on, guys. We can't. It's not a priority. Treat everyone equally. All Jews equally. Okay, so Talmid Chacham, Rabbanim, you treat extra respectful. I'm not. Don't understand it the wrong way. Love every Jew equally, the same. Love every Jew the same, and respect every Jew the same. It's not to me the Chachamim deserve more respect. It's another topic of how to treat the Rabbanim these days. Unfortunately, what's going on. But yeah, wow. There's so many examples. I hope I can mention all of them. So in summary, what did we say? We said how there's another. We spoke about in the last part, the fourth episode, one part of Pnimios and Chitzonios, how the Chitzonios helps the Pnimios. In this part, we're talking about, if I categorize this in one word, it would be judgmentalism. How to judge people. Now, it's not our job to judge people. There's the physical core they judge in the Chitzonios take away because they have to, and Hashem and Shemayim they judge by how hard a person is working. What matters up in heaven is how much you go against your nature. You do extra. And by the way, don't go too much against your nature. Don't go against your engine. It should come out of love. When you go past yourself, it should come out of love. It shouldn't come out of, doing iskaf, doing all these things. It shouldn't come out of hatred or resentment. Maybe a little bit, deviates design in certain things. But on the most part, it has to come out of love and enjoyment, and you feel like you're doing you're loving what you're doing. And that's how we connect to Hashem, because Hashem is judging people based on their efforts. So if we look at other Jews like that, we're being like Hashem. And this plays itself out in many ways. So the Pnimius is the way how the person is struggling inside, and the Chitzonios is the way it looks on the outside. Can't be deceived. Chaim Levracha. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share to help the algorithm bring it to more people, which changes lives and brings Mashiach now.